I'm going to show you how you can change the style of any of your images using Stylar AI. Now, whether you're creating a new image or changing the style of an existing image, Stylar AI's new style reference function is incredibly easy to use and really powerful. You can get some really awesome results quite simply using this style reference function. So we're going to jump onto Stylar AI. I'm going to show you exactly how it works. Now we're going to start nice and simple and then move on from there. Also, Stylar AI are the sponsor of this video and there's a link in the description. First of all, I'm going to head over here to text to image to get started with one of the most basic ways you can use this style. But first of all, I'm going to create an image without using the style function. I have a dog on the beach wearing sunglasses and a shirt. When I click Stylarize, I get my typical 4 options, and you'll notice that this has a different style to some of these other images. But most of them are simply photographs. If I click on this one and place it on the canvas, this is what we get without any style applied whatsoever. So I'm going to keep that there as reference, but we're going to go back into text to image. I've still got my prompt here, but you'll notice there's a section here for style. If I click on no style, for one, I can add my own, which we will do shortly, but for now, I can scroll through and find a style which I think suits the best. And in order to find something that's a little bit different than what we already have, let's go with something like line and wash. And I'm going to bring that style intensity up to about 0.5, and we're just going to keep everything pretty much at default. Click Stylarize to generate our images. And check out the style we've been able to get. I can get this particular style and it's pretty consistent. So if I add this one to the canvas, I can go up to my layers, turn this off, and we can compare one to the other. So you can see already how powerful that is simply by choosing a predetermined style from the Stylar website. This time I go text to image, and instead of line and wash, I'm going to scroll up to the top and I click create a style. And you can see I can upload an image here. You can see I've got this graffiti picture, which is actually quite cartoony. I click open, it'll upload the image. You can see I have a custom style here from that image. Now, keeping all the settings the same, let's see what we get. Now, we still get varying degrees of style, but this one here looks very close to the style of the image, down to the color. Let's place that on the canvas. And if I put these side by side, you can see how it's really captured the color, the style, the line work, and really done a great job of producing something that's aligned with that style. But let's come back to text to image. And what happens if we change this style intensity? I'm going to start with 0.2 and start generating a few different images so that we can compare. And you'll notice how with the style intensity of 2, it does affect it, but only mildly. But when you move it up to 0.4, the style increases. It starts to get more like that dragon until we get to where we were before with our 0.6 setting. But we up it to 0.8 and it's starting to look more like the dragon as well, with the full setting up, the dog almost turning completely into that dragon. So playing with that intensity will really give you a lot of control over the final result of your image. But let's start fresh for a sec. What if we want to change the style of an existing image? Well, I've got an image here. I'm going to go to import images at the top. Choose this face here as a bit of a test. Once it's uploaded, he's popped into the image. So what if we want to change the style of this image? Well, because we have an image here on screen, whatever we see here on our canvas, we can use with image to image. So I click on image to image, and this time I'm going to choose a style. We'll go with a digital ukiyo-e, and just straight off the bat, without even putting anything in there, I can just go straight to Stylarize and convert to that style. And you can see it's converted to that basic style. I add this one in, and this is what we get. But I can make a few changes. I can go back into image to image, make sure I have my original image displayed. I can bring that style intensity down a bit, increase the structure match to try and get something that's going to relate more closely to the outline of the image if I find that I don't want it to be sort of too different. So I'll go Stylarize once more. We get our images again. This one actually looks really close to the original. So you can see how it's actually pretty similar. If we turn that on or off, it's really matched the structure. It's added in a little bit of a smile, but we can always go back into image to image, choose one of our other images, place it on the canvas, and see which one we prefer. But coming back to our original image, we can again go into image to image, and this time I've got my styles here, so I can come back and reference any styles I've used in the past. You can see I've got this one here. I'm going to create a style, upload. I have this Van Gogh portrait here. I click open. And again, I can keep the structure match relatively high. Style intensity is at 6. So there's a few things I can do. First of all, I can, once again, just use this to restyle, or I can even add auto prompt. So that way it sort of will take a look at the image and the style and come up with a prompt. So let's try that. So you can see it's kind of like described that image. So let's stylarize and see what we get. And straight away from these examples here, you can see how well it's replicated that style. I especially like the first one. And you can see we've got that Van Gogh style. The other thing you can do, go into image to image, forget about the auto prompt, and just simply write your own prompt. And another thing you can do to reinforce a style is if you have a way of describing it, you can also mention it in the prompt. I have a man smiling, comma, Van Gogh style painting. So now I can actually reinforce that image as well and click stylarize. Although one thing I want to mention is you can also try mixing in other things if you want it to kind of like get a bit more uniqueness about the image. But for now, we'll click stylarize. Now check this out. We've got something that looks a little bit more like actual Vincent van Gogh. It's actually captured that style a bit better. So you can see by reinforcing it with your prompt, you can really take this next level with your images. But I also want to mention that there are sort of like some use cases based on the styles already available. Again, we come back to our original image. If I go image to image, instead of custom style, I'm going to go all styles or illustration design. I've got landscape, sketch elegance. So I can hit sketch elegance to try and convert my image into a sketch. I bring that style intensity up a bit. Instead of Van Gogh style, I'm just going to completely empty this and click stylarize. I add this one to the canvas. You can see we've converted our photograph into a sketch, and that looks like a legitimate sketch. Now in the inverse fashion, I can grab a sketch which I made a few years ago here, go image to image, choose a different style. I'm going to come down to character design here. I go with vivid stylization, and based on the sketch here, I've got a good structure match. My style intensity is at about 0.5. I'm going to bring it up to 0.6, and I'm going to hit stylarize to convert this sketch into a full color image. I pick the one I think looks best, place on canvas, and I've got this character design based off of a sketch. So you see how that is pretty incredible. On top of that, I go back to my original image to image, change the style again. I've got all styles, commercial portrait. I'm going to bring the structure match down a little bit because the sketch is okay, but it's not quite that good. Style intensity up. So at about 0.7, let's bring that structure match down, hit stylize. You can see some of these have varying levels of matching the image. This one matches pretty close, but doesn't quite look photorealistic. This one looks a bit better, as does this one. I add this one to the canvas, and now we have more of a photorealistic version of that character. There's a few differences, but by playing with the structure match or playing with the style intensity, you can adjust just how much it's going to sort of match your input image or the style you're trying to convert to. One thing I love experimenting with is taking your own drawings and bringing them into Stylar AI, and then you can upload a 3D character like this one I downloaded from VectEasy, apply the style, and turn your images into basically 3D renders or 3D characters. Another cool use case for this is actually to draw a really basic logo using the editor, and because you have a text tool, you can add text to the canvas. Then you can apply a style to it, or even go into their logo design styles and start to play with some logo concepts there as well. A powerful tool for basic graphic design. You can also take an existing logo like the one I've got here of mine, and by going image to image, picking a style, you can pick something a little bit different. I've got my structure match up to full. I'm going to bring up the style intensity as well, and I can use it to create different variations of my logo as well. And in this instance, I've got a nice little 3D effect, and it's proven to be pretty effective. And you can try this with any number of styles and have a lot of fun creating something unique. Now, while you can upload your own styles, and I recommend experimenting with that, Just remember that Stylar AI already has so many styles preloaded, ready to go. So if that's a barrier for you to actually try this out, don't worry about it. There is a ton you can choose from, and I'm just scrolling through a portion of them on the screen right now. Now, considering that you can convert photos to art, or art to photos, or simply just change the style of pre-existing art or images, this means that you have a lot of potential to not only have a lot of fun, but even make a bit of money with this particular feature. Some of the obvious methods are things like print on demand for t-shirts and things like that, where you upload a file and when someone buys, it gets printed, you take your profit, and it's like a nice little passive income stream. You can also just simply sell art on stock photography, or even print it, sell it yourself, or find other sort of methods for selling your art. But also as a service, if you are a graphic designer, taking images and being able to apply styles to them, especially when you're trying to match an aesthetic or a color palette that you have an image of, it's a really powerful way to enhance your graphic design service by applying a bit of AI to speed things up and get things done a lot quicker. But on top of that, you could offer even just the basic service of doing this style conversion. If you have someone or a bunch of clients out there who just need photos converted to different styles, or arts converted to other type of imagery, you can just simply offer that as a basic service and charge a flat fee for something that Stylar AI does pretty easily for you. So this is a really great way to learn the tool, gather some expertise, and turn it into a money-making opportunity, which is kind of like the one of the cornerstones of AI is not just the fun you can have with it, but the fact that it speeds up productivity and gives you a chance to further improve your business or your career. So if you haven't already, check out Stylar AI, especially this new style transfer tool. It's an awesome tool for anyone in a creative field, or even just for a bit of fun. There's a link in the description below, but otherwise I hope you found that video useful. And if you did, please consider giving the video a like. Otherwise, I hope to see you again soon, and have a great day.